And we are live. Welcome, Sofa Squad, to another edition of On the Sofa. With me as ever, back from freshly back from the hospital, Sci Niece.
Told you I wasn't gonna let that goddamn blood clot keep me out of here, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Except, I found out before we went live that the damn thing was about the size of a golf ball, or even a little bigger.
Yeah.
Nope, still here.
Yeah. So
get your dirty paws off my lemonade, Josh. Yes, I did. I got you a green tea. Stupid ass. I'm gonna kill him.
So yeah,
and what's chicken? I've
got two co-hosts for the price of two here.
Yeah, really. Except, yeah, give me that.
Woohoo!
Dinner's here.
Or two co-hosts for the price of one, I should say.
Yeah, well,
got Josh.
He's not exactly, I wouldn't exactly call him a co-host as much as an unwarranted peanut gallery.
Are these my fries?
Yeah, your fries.
Who's the peanut gallery?
You're the peanut gallery with your peanut brain. So are you. What's your point?
My point is that that's fucked up.
Go play Animal Crossing. Go harass your little piggy.
I will.
And play Fortnite or something. Go do something.
I will play Fortnite.
Yeah, go do something with yourself other than annoying me. I promise he's happy I'm home.
Well, he I don't know if you want the viewers to know this, but he was legit tearing up earlier when he was when he was talking about how worried he was about you.
I saw him. Yeah, he was. Oh my God, this chicken sandwich is to die for.
But anyway, yeah. Let's get on with the show. The show must go on, as they say.
Indeed, it must.
But so Biden's first 100 days.
And what a wonderful 100 days they have been.
Yeah.
So nice not waking up in the morning wondering if today's the day he's going to push the big red button.
Yes.
You laugh, but it's true.
Well, obviously you're a huge fan of Joe Biden. And you're
shut the fuck up. It's not that I'm not necessarily a huge fan. He was not my first choice. I am just overwhelmed with relief that Trump is gone and we have an actual adult.
Yes. Yeah, that at least is that is an improvement in itself. That we
exactly. I'm just so happy that we're not on the brink of destruction as a nation anymore.
I think I was watching a video by Telltale earlier, and he put it quite well. He said, these aren't his exact words. I'm paraphrasing, but he said the world is a safer place, not necessarily because Joe Biden is president, but because Trump is no longer president.
Exactly. That's it.
So shall we have a brief look at what Joe Biden has achieved in his first 100 days?
I like the sound of that.
And there's a clip to go with it. So I'm going to, if I can check the right button. Oh, yeah, share audio. That's what I need to do. So let's share this.
And they felt as though they were able to breathe.
Carol Urker is pleased with President Biden as he finishes his first 100 days in office.
Oh, he's getting all those vaccines out in the time limit that he said he would. I think he's doing a good job.
Here in Pennsylvania, sounds of optimism and signs of recovery are markers of an early milestone of the Biden presidency.
It's nice to not have all the noise coming out of Washington.
Don Cunningham runs the Lehigh Valley Economic Development Corporation. He and other business leaders are not yet sold on Biden's entire agenda, but they do like him.
The calmness and the settling nature of it, which is not necessarily partisan, it's probably just more social and more human, has been refreshing in the last 100 days.
Northampton County, Pennsylvania is one of only 25 counties in America that in the last 4 presidential races voted Obama, Obama, Trump, and Biden. Here in a swing county, in a swing state, in a divided nation, there are naturally plenty of critics. But perhaps just as remarkably, people willing to give Biden a shot.
Every president is my president. And I, good, bad, or indifferent, I like to support our president. So if I don't like it, next time I'll vote for somebody else.
Richard.
Okay, no, I'll leave it there because I don't want to get copyright claimed. But that's a clip from CNN News. And so here's the article. What Biden's first 100 days, what he's gotten done. So
yeah, I was reading this. It actually, like, seeing it in front of me, it really, carried a lot more weight. Because, like, I knew things were getting done, but seeing it all in front of me was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd forgotten what having a real president felt like.
Yeah, this is it. So someone who actually knows, how to go about the business of actually being a president.
Exactly. And just about being a leader in general.
Yeah.
Or even a human.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
So I'll just summarize. Biden focuses on virus, overturning Trump policies in first 100 days. Most of President Joe Biden's executive actions in introducing new policy in his first 100 days have been aimed at combating the novel coronavirus. He has primarily targeted former President Donald Trump's immigration policies for reversals. So basically, he spent a lot of his first 100 days unfucking things that Donald Trump put in place.
Exactly. I don't envy him. He had to put so much time into just undoing all of that damage.
Yeah. So on the screen at the moment, there's a handy chart. Mm-hmm. So in red are the reversals. The things that where Biden has been reversing Trump's policies, and in grey are the other executive actions. So there's two reversals on coronavirus and 13 others, 10 reversals on immigration and 2 others, 2 reversals on equity and 8 others, 3 on the economy and 4 others, and 2 on the environment and 3 others. There's 5 on national security, which are just Biden. Not Biden reversing Trump's policies, but just Biden making his own. And there's some other things that he's done there as well. And so I'll just move on to the COVID pandemic here. It says Biden came into office pledging to administer 100 million vaccine shots by his 100th day in office, after Trump fell short of his goal to vaccinate 20 million Americans by the end of 2020. The Biden administration reached its 100 million shot goal in mid-March, about 40 days ahead of schedule. The administration reached 200 million vaccine doses on April the 21st, a week ahead of Biden's updated timetable.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
A president that gives a shit.
Yeah.
And gets shit done.
Yeah. So people were calling him Sleepy Joe, but he's not looking very sleepy at the moment, is he?
That's the thing, A lot of people talk a lot of shit about him. what a lot of people have confused as dementia. I don't know if you know this, but President Biden has a speech impediment.
Yeah.
He has a stutter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And there are times where one of the techniques to avoid a stutter is to replace the word that you're having trouble with a different word.
Yeah.
So, he's not stupid. He's not demented. And hopefully all the progress he's making will prove that. He's just letting his actions show what he's capable of. He's not bloviating all over Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing. Twitter has become a lot calmer since Trump was banned from Twitter. There's been I don't know if you've noticed it as well, but Twitter has been a much calmer place to be.
It has been. And you know what? Now that I think about it, yeah, it has been a lot more peaceful.
Yeah. And anyway, moving on. What else has he achieved? Oh, here's a graph of the coronavirus spread in the US. So the dashed red line shows the 7-day moving average. So as you can see, in October it went up and up and up, down a bit, up, then it peaked at 250,000.
Yeah.
Around about February, but since then it's been steadily going down and down and down. And then we had this small curve here, but for the most part, the case has been dropping.
It's been on a downward trend, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you believe that my fries are frozen and my burger's half cold?
So we'll move on to the economic recovery.
Yes.
Days before his inauguration, Biden put forth a massive economic relief proposal, asking Congress to approve $1.9 trillion in funding to provide Americans with another round of stimulus checks, aid for the unemployed, support for small businesses, and money to help schools reopen safely. In March, Congress approved the package known as the American Rescue Plan. Much of it mirrored Biden's proposal, though there were some key changes, including narrowing the scope of the $1,400 stimulus payments, trimming the federal boost to unemployment benefits, and jettisoning an increase in the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. So far, the Biden administration has sent out more than 160 million stimulus payments worth up to $1,400 per person, released more than $80 billion in aid to state education agencies, and beefed up Affordable Care Act subsidies on the federal exchange healthcare.gov. It has also delivered $39 billion to states to help childcare providers reopen or stay afloat. So so that's really good. And we've got some comments. Godless Sewing is with us. Hello, Godless Sewing. Hello, Will.
Hi, Will.
Oh, and stall is still French.
Yeah, school is a lot of things.
Yes.
And Josh just because stool.
Including someone who doesn't have facial hair.
So
Stool
yeah.
didn't say you were crying because of your shit beard earlier. Okay, apparently Stool is gonna get smacked with Josh's beard.
Okay, that's nice.
Oh, reopening
so
schools. Now
yeah.
I don't know what I think about this.
Okay.
Honestly, honestly, I don't agree with the reopening of the schools right now
Okay.
because the only reason anybody's pushing to get the schools reopened is that parents want their free childcare back. They don't want to deal with their kids, is what it is.
Okay.
And, you know, at least in the neck of the woods I come from, every school that has reopened for in-person at the demand of lazy parents that want the teachers to do their parenting for them, there have been COVID cases.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with the idea of getting schools open for in-person. But that's just my opinion. I don't believe it's safe.
Yeah, but yes. Okay. And I mean, but I don't know how he's done it, you know, in the US, but here in the UK, the schools do try to keep the kids as safe as possible. You know, they push social distancing in the classrooms.
Yeah, but kids don't listen.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Kids don't listen. They want to rebel.
And
you know all about that. You have kids.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, this is true.
As do I.
Yeah. But anyway, the article reads, as early as December, Biden was already pledging to get the majority of schools open by the end of his first 100 days in office. Unlike other countries, the US leaves school control at the local level, and the challenges to providing in-person instruction are not the same everywhere, making it nearly impossible to create effective federal and even state-level guidance as the pandemic wears on. In some places, school authorities faced strong opposition from powerful teachers' unions. At first, there was confusion over how the administration defined reopening. When pressed about his administration's stance during a February 16th CNN town hall, Biden clarified that by the end of his first 100 days, the goal will be 5 days a week of in-person instruction, or close to that for K-8 students in particular. There are certainly more schools offering in-person instruction now than there were at the beginning of 2021, but it remains unclear whether a majority of schools are offering it 5 days a week for all students. So this is, you know, this is a mixed bag, you know, because has he really achieved this goal? It's, you know, it's not clear whether he has or not, but he's certainly doing his best to, you know, to achieve it. But depending on how you,
no president achieves 100% of their goals in the first 100 days. That'd be a little unrealistic to expect, you know?
Yeah. And it depends on how you define, you know, reopening schools. You know, but that's a whole nother discussion. And healthcare. Biden has acted swiftly to strengthen the Affordable Care Act, one of his main campaign promises. His administration has already taken multiple steps to reverse efforts by Trump to destroy the Democrats' landmark healthcare law. Biden reopened the federal Affordable Care Act exchange in mid-February, giving uninsured Americans until mid-August to sign up for 2021 coverage and allowing existing enrollees to shop for better plans with their beefed up subsidies, which last for 2 years. How do you feel Biden's done on this? Is this a successful Biden?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
how do you feel that Biden has done with his healthcare pledge?
Oh, I definitely feel a lot better about that than. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm really out of breath. So I didn't even know that the Affordable Care Act exchange had been closed, but it doesn't surprise me. So, I mean, I definitely feel a lot better knowing that the act is certainly not going to be destroyed now.
Yeah. And we'll just talk about immigration briefly, and then we'll move on.
Get them kids out of the cages.
Yeah. Biden has signed several executive actions taking aim at Trump's hard-line immigration policies, including reversing the former president's travel ban, targeting largely Muslim countries, and fortifying the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program after Trump's efforts to undo protections for undocumented people brought into the country as children. Biden created a task force focused on identifying and reuniting migrant families separated at the US-Mexico border as a result of Trump's controversial zero-tolerance policy, and he revoked a Trump-era proclamation that limited legal immigration during the COVID-19 pandemic. Any thoughts?
This is definitely a huge step in the right direction. We just got to get those kids back with their families.
Yeah.
That's what broke my heart about it. Like, they were locking these people in cages like animals.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, people have criticized Biden, that he's, kids are still in cages. But I think the difference is,
well, it's going to take Biden a long time to unfuck that,
Yeah.
Usually, messes of that scale are easy to make and extremely difficult to clean.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is it. I mean, and I think credit where it's due. I think he is trying his best now to reunite children with their parents, and you're right. It's going to take time. It's going to take a long time to unfuck this and to sort this mess out. But he's done a lot of work, but still a lot of work needs to be done. So yeah, but I think, in my opinion, Biden's first 100 days have been a success.
Oh, I agree 100%.
He may not have achieved everything, but then, as you said earlier, what president does.
Exactly.
And in other, and I think overall, he's been successful. Anyway, that's my take on it. Anyway, I
agree with you 100%.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on to our next story. We're gonna talk a lot about a certain.
Oh, Graham's saying that he hears Stool is a big Tony Blair fan.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, here's the comment. Yeah, here's Stool is a big Tony Blair fan. Tony Blair fan, even.
Stool's definitely in a cabinet, but maybe more like a closet. This is your invitation to come out, Stool.
But so we're going to start with our segment, Tory Twats. And we've got
What's more like all the shit about Boris Johnson going on.
Yes, exactly. And our first story is the one that everyone's talking about. Boris Johnson said he'd rather see bodies pile high in thousands than do third lockdown.
Well, that just says how much he gives a shit about the people now, doesn't it?
Yeah. And the fact is, whether he said this or not, we don't know if he said this.
It sure sounds like something he'd say.
Yeah, it does. But whether he said this or not, that's exactly what happened. The bodies did pile high in their thousands.
Well, that's exactly. His actions are demonstrating that sentiment.
But it seems to me that the mainstream media, the Murdoch press and the right wing side of the press, they seem more angry at something Johnson may have said than what he actually did. Because when the bodies really were piling up in their thousands, over 100,000, I think it's almost 200,000 now.
Over here, it's like 500,000.
Yeah, they said nothing. And but now when now it's come out that he may have said that he'd rather see bodies pile high in their thousands than do a third lockdown. Now they're angry. But anyway,
or at least they have to put on the appearance of being angry.
Yeah. Now they give a shit all of a sudden. But it's a good thing, I suppose, because now they're actually doing some actual journalism and actually trying to hold the government to account. But
yeah, but we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, well, yeah. The article says the government has denied the comedy chapter gossip of the Prime Minister's explosive alleged remarks at the time he reluctantly agreed a second lockdown last autumn. Boris Johnson, I'll just close that. Boris Johnson said he would rather see bodies piled high in their thousands than order another COVID lockdown, it was claimed on Sunday night. The Prime Minister's explosive alleged remarks came after he reluctantly accepted a second lockdown last autumn, with Britain in the grip of another deadly wave. Number 10 last night dismissed the claims as just another lie, while the Defense Secretary today attacked them as comedy gossip in gossip columns, despite the fact they were on the front page of the Daily Mail. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the Daily Mail.
I've seen articles from them here and there. Aren't they like trash rag?
Yeah. Daily Mail is basically a right-wing newspaper here in the UK. Greg is asking, does it look like a third lockdown, Black Sofa? Yeah. We're still coming out of a third lockdown, actually. I think just about all shops are open now, and you can go to the pub so long as you drink in the in beer gardens. And we are gradually coming out of our third lockdown. But the Daily Mail is a right-wing newspaper, and they historically have always supported the Tory government. So for them to be running, running this story and actually criticizing Boris Johnson and his government, something is wrong, something's amiss.
It's like Fox News criticizing Trump.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. If you would know that that something's wrong if Fox News, what's his name, Colson Tucker, started criticizing Donald Trump and the GOP, wouldn't you? And it's the same with the Daily Mail. If they start criticizing the Tories, they're in trouble. But anyway, the article goes on. Mr. Johnson personally denied making the remark on a visit to Wales today. Despite the denials, the claims will be deeply damaging for Mr. Johnson, whose government is already engulfed in a series of rows, some of which we've been talking about on this show. They come as he is engaged in a bitter and very public fallout with his former closest number 10 advisor, Dominic Cummings, over his handling of the pandemic, leaked text messages, and his refurbishment of the Downing Street flat. And there's Dominic Cummings for you. And so what do you think of this story?
Like I said, it wouldn't shock me if Johnson did say that, but Greg is saying, tell people what kind of source the Mirror is. Black Sofa. Okay, well, the Mirror, they're more on the left side of things. They're a newspaper who will be more inclined to criticize the Tories. But they're on the left side of politics, I would say. But yeah, it's ridiculous the slants that the media has now.
Yeah,
We used to have something here called the Fairness Doctrine, but fucking Reagan had to get rid of it.
oh right, okay. But so I think we haven't heard the last of this story.
Oh no, this is definitely developing. We'll see what comes of this.
Yeah, and because as we're going to see in the next story, there's a lot more shit is going to hit the fan, basically. So
As if it isn't already.
yeah. I think I should explain who Dominic Cummings is. Dominic Cummings, he was Boris Johnson's most trusted advisor, and the two worked very closely together in the Get Brexit Done campaign as well. And then Boris Johnson just used him to get into power, and then he ditched him, basically. So this is revenge.
Like it did to a lot of people.
Yeah, so this is revenge on Dominic Cummings' part. And we're going to see from our next story that the number 10 is terrified of Dominic Cummings. Let's just, terrified. Number 10 fears Dominic Cummings' pandemic dossier. Because, as Dominic, Boris Johnson's, closest advisor, Dominic Cummings basically knows where the bodies are buried. Yeah, he.
Oh yeah, if he opens his mouth, Johnson's screwed.
Yeah.
6 wishes Sunday.
And so there's this so-called pandemic dossier, which number 10 is, is scared that Dominic Cummings is going to open up, and everything's going to come out. Basically, the article says that the article from the Evening Standard says this: Dominic Cummings is preparing a bombshell dossier that will attempt to blame the Prime Minister for thousands of deaths during the pandemic, according to reports. The former top aide will give evidence to a joint committee of MPs investigating the government's response to the coronavirus crisis next month. According to the Sunday Times, Mr. Cummings will use the appearance to launch a fresh attack on Boris Johnson. A source told the paper Dominic has copies of everything and knows where all the bodies are buried.
I do hope that's a metaphorical, I hope that's not literal.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But so basically, he knows all of Boris Johnson's dirty little secrets.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, and so we have not heard the last of this story by any means. It's all going to come flooding out.
I'm pretty sure everything we're covering today, I don't think we've heard the last of any of it.
No,
just scratching the surface.
So Boris Johnson's days as Prime Minister could be numbered.
Could be, but if he's got the kind of cult following that Trump does, I don't know.
But I'm not sure how things work in America, in American politics, but here in the UK, if your political party is not pleased with the way you're running things, they can call a vote of no confidence.
I don't think we have that here.
And if there's enough MPs, vote for no confidence in the Prime Minister, in the lead of their party, then there has to be a leadership election. And that happened to Theresa May. There was a vote of no confidence in her, and that's how we ended up with Boris Johnson as the leader of the Conservative Party, and by extension the Prime Minister. So the same could happen to him. There could well be plans to call for a vote of no confidence.
Well, let's hope so, because look at the giant pile of corruption he's sitting on.
But yeah, exactly. But at the moment, his MPs seem to be towing the party line. They seem to be believing him. Continuing to believe in him, and denying that he's done anything wrong. And it just makes me wonder, what does Boris Johnson have to say or do for?
I want to know what he has on them.
That's another thing. But what does he have to do? What does he have to say for his MPs to say enough is enough? we're going to call for a vote of no confidence and get someone else in. But so we'll and I think as more revelations come out of this this dossier from Cummings, eventually, the shit will hit the proverbial fan for Boris.
Maybe even a literal one. Get all over him. That'd be nice.
It says, the article goes on. Downing Street is also concerned that Mr. Cummings might expose details about Mr. Johnson's life with fiancée Carrie Simmons.
How many wives is this going to be once he marries her?
Oh, I've lost count.
Let's find out. Let's find out. I'm gonna just Google that right now.
Okay. Last night, Mr. Cummings suggested the government was too slow to close the
He's been married
borders.
twice.
Oh, right. So this will be wife number 3, will it?
Yeah.
It goes on. Last night, Mr. Cummings suggested the government was too slow to close the borders when the pandemic started. He said the scientific consensus that travel bans would not help prevent the spread of COVID-19 was flawed. In response to a tweet about how Vietnam had protected its borders, he said it was a very important issue, relearning from the disaster. His tweet followed a lengthy blog post where he openly attacked Mr. Johnson and claimed that the matter in which he obtained funding for the refurbishment of his Downing Street flat was unethical and possibly illegal. So, which brings us on to our next story. Let's have a look. Electoral Commission to investigate Boris Johnson's Downing Street flat refurb.
Oh, this is the fun part.
From the Huff Post. The Prime Minister is reported to have been loaned money from Tory donors for the £200,000 revamp.
All that to renovate a fucking apartment. What the fuck is he doing? Installing stripper poles? Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, no, exactly. How Boris Johnson funded a refurbishment of his Downing Street flats will be investigated by the elections watchdog. It has been confirmed. The Electoral Commission has said it is satisfied that there are reasonable grounds to suspect that an offence or offences may have occurred. Number 10 has refused to say whether Johnson sought an initial loan from the Conservative Party to cover renovations to his residence in number 11, which he shares with partner Carrie Simmons and their baby son Wilfred. Prime Ministers get a budget of up to £30,000 per year to renovate their residency at Downing Street, but reports have suggested that Johnson has spent up to £200,000. Former aide Dominic Cummings accused him of wanting Tory donors to secretly pay for the renovations and by the Prime Minister personally, and that party funds are not being used for this. Labour has accused Johnson of having lied over the funding and accused senior members of the government of a possible cover-up. And Tory MPs have gone on the news to support the Prime Minister. They have said, Boris Johnson has said that he personally financed the refurbishment of the flat, and we believe him.
Why would anybody believe him? Unless they're a fool.
But this is. I mean, this is someone who has been sacked for lying twice in the past. But oh no, he's telling the truth about this.
Oh, reminds me of not so long ago over here.
Yeah.
Gee, whatever could I be speaking of?
I wonder. But unfortunately, I think this is not. Well, I'll share the story and we'll talk about it because.
Oh yes.
Let's see. Yeah. From the Daily Mirror again. Johnson will decide himself if he broke the rules over flat refurbishment.
I think I made my opinion on that quite clear when we discussed it earlier.
Yeah. The Prime Minister's official spokesman.
Fucked up government system. Let's the accused be the judge.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That is just, Jesus Christ. Whoever decided that was a good idea.
Yeah.
The fucking clot in my lung is bigger than their brains.
The Prime Minister's official spokesman confirmed Mr. Johnson will remain ultimate arbiter of the ministerial code, even if he's the one under investigation. So it doesn't matter what the investigation finds, even if the investigation finds that yes, he did break ministerial code, even if they find that he broke the law.
Nope, he can just wave his hands and say, "No, I didn't," and it goes
Yeah.
away.
No, well, yeah, exactly. He gets the final say.
Some bullshit.
Yeah. He could even turn around and say, yeah, I broke the but what are you going to do about it? Nothing. Go fuck yourself.
Which is basically what he's been doing anyway. Telling all of you nice taxpayers to go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
Using your money
to
finance his lavish lifestyle and his mistress. Don't think I forgot about our Curie. That's never going away.
No. And so, the article goes on. Boris Johnson will himself decide whether he broke any rules relating to the refurb of his flat, number 10 has confirmed. So in other words, like we've been saying, if the inquiry says you broke the rules, he'll just turn around and say, no, I didn't. And that'll be the end of it. Downing Street announced this morning that Lord Guides, the newly appointed independent advisor on ministerial standards, would lead an investigation into the funding of the reportedly lavish makeover. But the Prime Minister's spokesman confirmed Mr. Johnson will remain the ultimate arbiter of whether he broke the ministerial code, and he won't rescue himself, even though he is the target of the investigation.
Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he jump on an opportunity to be like, nope, I didn't do anything wrong. Like my father used to say in court, I've done nothing wrong here.
Yeah. So it's going to be this investigation is going to be a waste of time.
Oh yeah, it's just going to be a circus, just like the Trump impeachments.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is the fucking Trump impeachments all over again. Like, what's the point? She's gonna walk anyway. Nobody gives a shit what he does because he's got the right letter next to his name.
Yeah, exactly. and so and as I said, at the moment his MPs are just towing the party line.
They're doing exactly what the goddamn GOP did here. The goddamn old people. That's what I call them.
Yeah,
That's what they are. Goddamn old people. Motherfuckers.
and I wonder if I can share some footage from Prime Minister's question time, because he exploded basically.
Imagine my surprise.
And no, I can't find it. Anyway, moving on. Another story about Boris Johnson.
Because of course.
Yeah. This one's
We
quite...
might as well call this the talk shit about Boris Johnson show. I'm telling you.
Yeah, we may as well.
He deserves it. Bastard.
But from the European, in a recent poll, 6 in 10 people in Britain say they do not trust Boris Johnson. 6 in 10 people in Britain regard Boris Johnson as untrustworthy, new polling has revealed. In an Ipsos Mori survey commissioned by the Evening Standard, only 35% of voters say they trusted the Prime Minister, compared to 59% who did not. The findings will increase alarm in Tory circles after weeks of leaks and allegations about sleaze. The poll found Labour leader Keir Starmer had a 42% trust rating. Some 41% indicated they did not trust him. It also found net satisfaction with the government and the Prime Minister had changed little from March. Both Johnson and Starmer have net negative ratings, but Chancellor Rishi Sunak received a 58% approval rating. And I think we should watch Rishi Sunak. I think he's going to be the person to watch. I think it's more than likely that he'll be, he could very well be the next Prime Minister.
And what leads you to that conclusion?
Well, because Rishi Sunak seems to be the poster boy at the moment. Even the BBC, famously or infamously, however you want to look at it, depicted him as Superman in one of their news programs, and people like him, and it wouldn't surprise me if he is the next leader of the Conservative Party. But he's already holds the second most powerful job, second only to the Prime Minister. Chancellor of the Exchequer, in charge of the government's finances, in other words. But we'll see. You heard it here first. Rishi Sunak will be the next leader of the Conservative Party. Anyway.
Well, are you willing to bet money on that?
Well, I don't know about money, but
okay, fine. Will you bet the soul of your unborn son?
Yeah, call it a sportsman's bet. But anyway, we're moving on from Boris Johnson to Matt Hancock.
Oh God, that one.
Yeah, this is an interesting story, to share the least. This is censorship. Matt Hancock point blank refuses to answer repeated questions about Tory sleaze. And
don't you not have the Fifth Amendment over there?
Let's see if we can play this.
At the BBC.
Thank you very much, Secretary of State. If a serving government minister is found to have broken the rules on party funding or even law, should they resign?
Well, thanks very much. I know that the Prime Minister answered lots of questions about this in the House of Commons earlier. And given that this is a coronavirus press conference, you won't be surprised that I'm not going to add to the answers the Prime Minister's already given to very extensive questioning. Thanks. Next question is Christian Gurma.
So, yeah, there's Matt Hancock there, point blank refusing to answer a question.
We've carefully prepared our...
Point blank refusing to answer a question from Laura Kunsberg, the political editor of the BBC, asking if the Prime Minister, if it's found that the Prime Minister has broken the ministerial code or even the law, should he resign? Which is a fair question.
Absolutely.
And the Prime, Matt Hancock and other MPs have answered non-coronavirus questions, during these conferences before, but he point blank refused to answer this one, and people are saying that it's censorship.
I wouldn't call it censorship so much as dodging.
Yeah, but this is from Yahoo News, by the way. Matt Hancock has been accused of censorship after refusing to answer questions about the Boris Johnson flat refurbishment scandal. At Wednesday's coronavirus press conference, the health secretary 3 times refused to answer questions about the matter, saying he would only talk about COVID-19 at the briefing. Labour MP Bill Easterson said, "This is starting to look like censorship of the press by a government minister." He later added, Hancock deciding which questions can and can't be asked by journalists. If that's not censorship, what is it? He later added, it comes after the Electoral Commission announced it would be investigating how the refurbishment of the Prime Minister's Downing Street flat was initially funded, with the watchdog saying there are reasonable grounds to suspect that an offence or offences may have occurred. Hancock first shut down the BBC's Laura Kunsberg, who asked if a serving government minister should resign if they were found to have broken the rules on party funding or the law.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of a moot point? Since we know Johnson's gonna just decide for himself that he didn't break any rules, does it really matter?
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is it. Yeah. And we're, we've got a government that we seem to have a government at the moment in place at the moment who can get away with anything.
Basically, that's what we dealt with the Trump administration.
Yeah. And unfortunately we don't have a general election until I think for another 3 years or so.
Oh fuck!
Yeah. So and they've got a massive majority, in the House of Commons, so they can do whatever they like. Yes, but this refusing to answer questions about corruption is a big fuck you, to voters basically.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fuck the constituents. We're only out for our own asses.
Yeah. Later, he ignored Matt Hancock ignored a question by the Times' Chris Smith, who asked if the government is still considering the disbanding of the Electoral Commission amid its investigation. This was first proposed by the Conservative Party chair, Amanda Milling, in August last year. That was Smith's third question, having previously asked about two about coronavirus. Hancock said, "I think we'll give the third one a miss." So, yeah, he ignored another journalist as well. Another journalist's question about corruption. So, yeah. The government, this government can be as corrupt as they like, and they're just going to get away with it.
Yep. No accountability whatsoever.
But let's move on, shall we?
Yes.
We've got a few other stories to. This is a nice story that I'm gonna share. Hang on, let's see if I can. Yeah. Newark cops with reform didn't fire a single shot in 2020.
That is fantastic news.
Isn't it? This is from NJ.com. Newark police officers did not fire a single shot during the calendar year 2020, and the city didn't pay a single dime to settle police brutality cases. That's never happened, at least in the city's modern history. At the same time, crime is dropping, and police recovered almost 500 illegal guns from the street during the year. This is significant, says Aquila Sherrills, head of the Newark Community Street Team, a group of mostly former offenders who work to diffuse violence in the city's most violent wards. It speaks of how reform has really taken hold in the city. Larry Ham, the godfather of police protests in Newark, as head of the People's Organization for Progress, agreed. Police brutality is still a problem, he says, but it's fair to say the consent decree has had a real impact. The reforms are the results of a federal consent decree, the Billy Club used by the Department of Justice after a long investigation concluded in 2014 revealed that the rot that had infested the department for decades. It found a rogue department that tolerated widespread brutality and racism with no accountability and zero training on how to de-escalate confrontations with civilians. You had a law enforcement agency with no training about how to enforce the law, says Peter Harvey, the former state attorney general who is overseeing the implementation of the consent decree. When Paul Fishman, the former US attorney, began his investigation in 2011, he found the department's culture was broken in almost every way: a reflexive resort to violence, racial bias in stops and enforcement, and an internal affairs bureau so corrupted that it sustained just one complaint of police brutality over 5 years. The use of force was too high and the reporting of it was too low, Fisherman says. This is a remarkable success story, all done at a time when serious crime in Europe has dropped by 40% in the last 5 years. Both Harvey and Fishman say the key to that success is that Mayor Ras Baraka and Police Director Anthony Ambrose took the mission to heart. They hired more black and brown officers, began training programs based on best practices, required any officer who uses force in any way to report it in detail, and for the supervisor to review it. The bad cops were suddenly outed. So, what do you think about this?
Sorry, I've actually kind of been, honestly, kind of in and out of awareness. I might have to actually sign off. I'm starting to run out of breath and energy.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but no, this is fantastic news. The Newark crime rate going down, that's great. It seems like they're finally taking some initiative, which all police forces need to do.
And hopefully we'll see similar practices rolled out, throughout the other states of America as well.
Yeah, the feds actually have a bill introduced called the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, but one of the problems right now is a certain side of the fence doesn't want to remove qualified immunity for police officers. I'm sorry, but that can't be, We've got to have some accountability there. It's not justice in policing if you're qualified for immunity from prosecution for murdering someone just because you're a cop.
Okay. Well, I can hear that you're struggling to breathe, so I'm gonna let you go.
Okay. I am so sorry. I think I overestimated my capacity here.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You take care of yourself.
That's what I'm trying to do. I just don't want to let this thing stop me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I understand.
I apologize, everyone. I'm gonna go find my breath and my lung capacity.
Okay, take it easy.
Gonna try.
So as Sci Niece takes it easy and relaxes, and and hopefully, she'll be, feeling a lot better soon. I'm going to press on with a couple more stories before I say goodnight. Yeah, yeah. I think I'll just do 2 more stories and then I'll call it a night. So our next story, oh, hang on, is the FBI. The FBI searches Giuliani's home and office, seizing phones and computers. This is from the New York Times. Let's see if I can share this. So, yeah. Prosecutors obtained the search warrants as part of an investigation into whether Rudy Giuliani broke lobbying laws when he was President Donald J. Trump's personal lawyer. Federal investigators on Wednesday seized cell phones and computers from Rudolph W. Giuliani, the former mayor of New York City who became President Donald J. Trump's personal lawyer, stepping up a criminal investigation into Mr. Giuliani's dealings in Ukraine. 3 people with knowledge of the investigation said. FBI agents executed search warrants around 6 a.m. at Mr. Giuliani's apartment on Madison Avenue and his Park Avenue office in Manhattan, carting away the electronic devices, Mr. Giuliani confirmed in a statement. The execution of search warrants is an extraordinary action for prosecutors to take against a lawyer, let alone a lawyer for a former president. The move marked a major development in the long-running investigation into Mr. Giuliani, which examines some of the same people and conduct that were at the center of Mr. Trump's first impeachment trial. It is also a remarkable moment in Mr. Giuliani's long arc as a public figure. As mayor, Mr. Giuliani won national recognition for steering New York through the dark days after the September the 11 attacks. And earlier in his career, he led the same U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan that is investigating him now, earning a reputation as a hard-charging prosecutor who took on organized crime and corrupt politicians. So, yeah, so it's pretty ironic that the same office that he once led is now investigating him for being corrupt. In recent years, however, his image has been sullied by his efforts to help Mr. Trump dig up dirt in Ukraine on President Biden's son, and led to Mr. Trump's attempts in court to overturn the results of the 2020 election with baseless claims of widespread fraud. So this is serious. This is serious. If the FBI have taken away his computer and his cell phone and other electronic devices, this is serious stuff. Giuliani is in big trouble. And this story is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And Godless Zone is right. He is so corrupt, I hope he goes to prison. Yeah, he could well go to prison over this. Yeah, but we'll try to to keep you guys updated on this story, because this story is not going anywhere anytime soon. But we'll see if he ends up in that orange jumpsuit. We'll see. we'll see what comes of this. And finally, the story that prompted the meme that I started the show with. Tony Blair has a new hairstyle. Hang on. Let's see if this is this going to work. It looks like it's going to work. Viewers in shock as Tony Blair unveils mullet-style hairdo in latest TV appearance. So let's see if we can.
The Labour Party hadn't implemented its manifesto commitment to do devolution in 1997, the union would already be in tatters. Now, where I think we were wrong was in believing that devolution would end the argument for independence. It hasn't ended it, but it's still a very substantial part of the bulwark against it. And you know, my best bet is that in the end, Scotland will vote ultimately and want ultimately to remain inside the UK.
So yeah, there you have it. There was a clip from Tony Blair's interview where he was sporting an interesting hairstyle, and people have been talking about it, and people have been memeing about it all over Twitter. Former Prime Minister Tony Blair left viewers in shock after unveiling a new mullet-style hairdo during his latest TV appearance. The ex-Labour Party leader, 67, was speaking to ITV's Paul Brand about devolution and a potential Scottish independence referendum. But it was his straggly locks that dominated reaction on social media, with a slew of film character and celebrity comparisons. Mr. Blair quickly began trending on Twitter, along with the likes of lookalikes Jerry Francis and Peter Stringfellow. The latest lockdown saw barbers closed. Hang on. So I'll read that again. The latest lockdown saw barbers closed until April the 12th in England, but it appears the ex-Prime Minister has grown accustomed to his new look. And so, what do you guys think of Tony Blair's new hairstyle? Let me know in the comments. Tony Blair definitely has a mullet going on. Yeah, and yeah. Who do you think he looks like? Yeah, and that was the subject of discussion on Twitter, basically. Let's see if I can find any. Oops. Yes. Yes. Okay. Let's see if we can share some of the. Oh, Spooky is saying, I approve the hair. Oh, I'll show you some of these memes. Yeah, so these are some of the memes that he's been compared with. Yeah, this character from Ghostbusters 2, Gollum, a White Walker, and this, this person here, I don't know who that is. He's also been compared to the First Doctor. I thought there'd be more than that, but in other memes, I've seen him compared to Peter Stringfellow and Virgin boss Branson. Yeah, he looks like a 1980s hockey player. Okay, I'll have to take your word on that one, Will, because Richard Lewis. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's who that was. So, yeah, that brings us to the end of our show. And as I said earlier, I wish Sci Niece well and a swift recovery. Take it easy, Sci Niece, and we hope you get well soon. And on that bombshell, I will say good night. And thank you to all those who have been watching in the chat. And thanks to all those who are going to watch after the fact. And as always, if you've liked this video and you're new to the channel, do give us a thumbs up and do subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss another video. And until next time, bye for now.